Rescuers race against time to find those missing under collapsed Venezuelan buildings. The US hit Iran after Donald Trump's threat to respond to Gulf attack. And welfare chief says court protection order is made in best interest of baby Danny. Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. The situation has grown more desperate by the hour in Venezuela as people dig through the rubble of collapsed homes and apartment buildings 3 days after the devastating back-to-back 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes, knowing time is running out to find survivors. The death toll from the two quakes stands at more than 920, with at least 51,000 missing. Those displaced by the earthquake are camping outside hoping for government rescuers to help them. Tracy Furness has more.
Survivors of the earthquake in the northern city of La Guaira pitched tents on a baseball field, people sleeping outside on mattresses. Omar Guariato, a displaced resident, said, "There was no time for anything, and even though we tried to leave, my house didn't collapse. But then when my daughter went to look for her child, the house next door, which is 3 stories high, collapsed and fell on top of her. It covered her. She was trapped." People dig through the debris, trying to find survivors. This man uses his hands. A body is pulled from what was a hotel. Aid agencies consider the first 48 to 72 hours to be a crucial time frame to retrieve people alive, though that period can be extended if they have access to food and water. Rescue teams from Mexico and other nations began to arrive in Venezuela Friday to help with search efforts. Among those international aid contingents were Topos Aztecas, renowned search and rescue specialists. The team has been deployed alongside Mexican Army K-9 units and medical teams. This rescue team member said, "The idea is to assess the structures and deploy the dogs to guide us to where we need to work. Naturally, we are searching for survivors, which is our top priority right now." Meanwhile, in Doral, South Florida, residents brought supplies to a collection site on Friday to be sent to the victims of the deadly earthquakes. Dozens of volunteers manned the site, sorting donations into boxes, which included items such as non-perishable food, water, medicine and clothes, ready to be shipped to the South American nation. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
American forces have conducted strikes on Iran's military facilities after President Donald Trump chided Iran for its ship attack the day earlier as a violation of truce. Meanwhile, officials from Lebanon, Israel and the United States announced in Washington that a trilateral framework agreement is struck to call for the withdrawal of Israeli forces from parts of southern Lebanon. The shaky ceasefire between the US and Iran that reopened the Strait of Hormuz is undergoing a new test. The US Central Command releases a video purportedly showing one of the strikes that it says targeted missile and drone locations as well as coastal radar sites in Iran. The CENTCOM says the American action was meant to be a strong response to an alleged Iranian drone attack on a Singapore-flagged ship, the MV Ever Lovely, in the strait near Oman's coast on Thursday. It has promised to continue to provide safe passage coordination and support to commercial vessels transiting the Hormuz Strait, saying it will remain present and vigilant to ensure the newly signed interim understanding with Tehran is obeyed and in full force and effect. The strikes come shortly after President Trump told reporters you'll find out whether the US will respond.
Yes, you'll find out.
Do you consider the ceasefire to still be in place?
I don't like the fact that they took a shot yesterday, actually 4. We knocked down 3. They shouldn't be doing that, so you'll find out.
Will the U.S.
You'll find out.
The United Nations International Maritime Organization says it has decided to temporarily pause its evacuation of ships stranded in the waterway, pending further clarity. In retaliation to the US airstrikes on its southern coast, Tehran announces bombing targets linked to US forces, with Bahrain reporting Iranian drone attack on its territory. In another development, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hails the signing of a framework deal with Lebanon that he says is a major blow to Iran. He says the framework will allow Lebanese military to eventually take control of territory from Israeli forces, while Israelis will maintain their security zone where no Hezbollah or civilians are allowed to enter. Nada Hamadeh, the Lebanese ambassador to the US, describes the deal as a first step on the road to restoring Lebanese sovereignty and territorial integrity and securing a permanent and final cessation of hostilities. John Bolton, former US National Security Advisor, pleads guilty to mishandling classified information with relatives and seals a deal with prosecutors that could allow him to avoid going to prison. John Bolton became a fierce critic of Donald Trump after serving under his first presidency and then being fired. Federal prosecutors allege Bolton has shared sensitive information with two relatives for possible use in a memoir he was writing, including notes on intelligence briefings and meetings with senior government officials and foreign leaders. He pleaded not guilty to 18 criminal charges under the original indictment last year. On Friday, the 77-year-old appeared in court and pleaded guilty to a single count of illegally retaining national defense information.
As Mr. Bolton admitted, he shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities as the National Security Advisor. No one is above the law, and I hope that this prosecution sends a clear message that we will vigorously investigate and prosecute individuals who violate our national security laws without fear and without favor, and we will bring wrongdoers to justice.
According to a Reuters report, Bolton has reached a new plea agreement with prosecutors that is believed to be carrying a sentencing that ranges from no prison time to up to 5 years behind bars. The judge, however, is not bound by that part of the deal. Bolton reportedly agrees to pay a fine of $2.25 million and must make half of the payment within 5 days of sentencing and the full payment within 90 days. He is planned to be sentenced at a hearing on October the 28th in Greenbelt, Maryland, to be presided by a district judge. Russia and Ukraine exchanged 320 prisoners of war on Friday in the latest swap between the two sides. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky praised the latest prison swap. Meanwhile, a Russian strike on the southeastern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia has wounded 15 people. Tracy Furness reports.
Buses arrive at an unknown location in Ukraine carrying Ukrainian prisoners of war from Russia. Loved ones wave flags from the sidewalk. Then the hugs as the POWs are reunited with friends and family. 160 Ukrainian prisoners of war were returned from Russian captivity. Those released included members of Ukraine's armed forces, the State Special Transport Service, the National Guard and the State Border Guard Service. The POWs sing the Ukrainian national anthem and then chant "Glory to the nation, death to the enemy." Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky praised the latest prisoner swap with Russia. "We continue to bring people home from Russian captivity. Today, another 160 servicemen are back home. Almost all of them have been held captive since 2022, Zelensky said in his briefing.
Secretary for Labour and Welfare Chris Soon says a court protection order for a baby boy can safeguard his best interests. This comes after a Hong Kong court issued a 36-month protection order for baby Danny on Friday, putting him under the care of the Social Welfare Department. Danny's parents were arrested on suspicion of child neglect earlier. Mimosa Ngai reports.
On Friday, the West Kowloon Law Courts issued a 3-year protection order for Danny, placing the caring responsibility under the Social Welfare Department. Speaking to the media on Saturday, Secretary for Labour and Welfare Chris Soon said that the parents proposed several caring solutions, hoping to persuade authorities to let them bring their son home, including taking Danny to hospital regularly for checkups. But the court did not agree with their proposals because professionals from different fields did not want to rely on verbal promises. While Soon agreed that placing Danny under his parents' care would be the most ideal situation under other circumstances, he said that the protection order could avoid the baby end up in undesirable scenarios. The welfare chief noted that the Social Welfare Department could apply for shortening the protection order, a decision that will require the professionals' evaluation. Moments 9, TVB News.
And still ahead, Qingdao waterfront hosts international dragon boat races. Tourists enjoy water cannon blasts in Rome to cool down. Welcome back. A small aircraft crashed into Beijing's CITIC Tower on Friday, killing the pilot and injuring 13 people. The video shows that the glass panels on a high story were shattered. Another footage shows that a fire occurred on the ground floor of the building and firefighters were putting it out. In a social media notice, mainland authorities say that the incident happened in Beijing's Chaoyang district on Friday at around 6 p.m. The notice says the injured are being treated and the cause of the incident is being investigated. It's been nearly 4 years since Chief Executive JUN took up Hong Kong's top post. He says he will continue to reform and innovate to improve the well-being of the public during the remaining year of his term. Speaking in social media, he says the most important thing in governance is to benefit citizens. He believes governing a city requires meticulous and thorough work. When discussing his administration's work over the past 4 years, Li used the analogy of planting in community gardens to illustrate how he actively reformed, overcame challenges, solved housing problems, and accelerated the development of the northern metropolis. Acting Financial Secretary Michael Wong says strengthening the crackdown on illegal cross-border asset transfers is beneficial to the continued development of the wealth management industry. Mimosa Ngai has more.
3、2、1。
Acting Financial Secretary Michael Wong officiated at the opening ceremony of the Wealth Expo 2026. He says Hong Kong's economy is very resilient. Despite geopolitical turmoil, businesses have still found new opportunities as the economy grew by 5.9% in the first quarter of this year. He also mentions that Hong Kong has surpassed Switzerland to become the world's largest cross-border wealth management center, with over 60% of managed assets originating from overseas. But cross-border wealth transfers must be legal and compliant. Wong says when non-compliant and illegal cross-border asset activities are cracked down on and weakened, legal and compliant businesses will grow bigger and stronger. At the same event, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury Christopher Ho says that the government is actively promoting a more diversified range of investment options in Hong Kong. He says Hong Kong will leverage the advantages of one country, two systems and will cooperate with the Shanghai Gold Exchange to build an international gold market. He also points out that Chief Executive JUN recently led a delegation to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, both of which have abundant mineral resources. Ho says cooperation with these two countries can be strengthened, such as helping them access international capital to develop their mining operations. He also says Hong Kong will continue to deepen the internationalization of the renminbi, expanding its capital pool and applicable scenarios. Mimosa Ngai, TVB News.
To mark the 29th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR, both Shekong and San Wai Barracks are open to the public this weekend. Kelly Law has more from the new territories.
To celebrate Hong Kong SAR's 29th anniversary, the PLA Hong Kong Garrison has opened its barracks for 2 consecutive weekends, drawing large crowds of visitors, including someone who's very familiar with Shekong.
Like the hospital there, I was born there. And there's a children's school as well. There's a high school for Gurkhas. I studied there, but I think they have we're not allowed to go to that side, but it's okay. But I feel happy to be here today.
At Shekong Barracks, helicopter performance took center stage as it performed a series of maneuvers, including ultra-low altitude flight and hoovering, to much cheer. In addition, the open day featured a flag raising ceremony, weapons exhibition, and even the showcasing of soldiers' living quarters, offering visitors a rare glimpse into daily military life.
As an Air Force base, Shekong not only offers hands-on experience with aviation life support equipment, but also features flight simulator for visitors to try.
Also on display was China's first domestically developed dedicated attack helicopter Z-10, allowing visitors to take photos and get an up-close look.
So I know some details about these helicopters in recent years, based on the touch on video games and also on the videos I've been watching too about military aspects.
PLA Air Force Major Liang Ziyi says today's performance was meticulously planned. Those strong wings added an extra layer of difficulty. He expressed hope that the public will come away with a deeper appreciation of the military's capacity and resolve to safeguard Hong Kong. This weekend, both Shenkong and Shanghai Barracks are open to the public. Visitors are required to register in advance through the PLA Hong Kong Garrison's official WeChat account.
Kelly Law, TVB News.
Today sees the first races of the 2026 Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Championship in Tsim Sha Tsui. The event brings together over 4,500 athletes from around the world, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the championship. Elena Wang has more.
With the sound of the starting gong, Dragon Boat teams set off, delivering exciting races in the Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Championship. Each race lane is 500 meters in length, and the competition uses standard 20-meter dragon boats. More than 220 teams and over 4,500 athletes from over 16 countries gather at the Tsim Sha Tsui waterfront. They are full of energy, pumping themselves up before the races start.
Indonesia! Indonesia! Because we know that our competition here this is Hong Kong, like the mecca of dragon boat, sports in the world, that people like the seasons and professional paddlers are coming here to be able to test ourselves. But maybe this is also for us to build our confidence as a team.
So I think it's enjoyable. I think it's a different level of a competition. It's interesting to see there's a lot of teams here.
Competitors from overseas speak highly of this event.
Because the organization is so nice, you have the great tracks, 8 lanes is premier, so you can't get better than that.
The sport is fabulous because it's so welcoming. Many different genders, different age groups can take part, and you just race as hard as you like.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the championship, and the organizers brought back the Fisherman Invitation Cup with 6 local teams competing with traditional wooden dragon boat. The event is held over the weekend, with spectators packing the shore.
I came here to see this festival here, and I feel very exciting and a little bit nervous.
Visitors can enjoy festival bites at nearby Food Lane, or interact and take photos with dragon boats along the avenue.
Spectators are welcome to watch the races in Tsim Sha Tsui. Shaded viewing area is provided and admission is free. Alina Wang, TVB News.
The Italian capital of Rome is bringing out water sprinkling cannons for sweating tourists braving the heat to visit the Colosseum and Roman Forum. Rome was among 18 Italian cities designated as red alert for high temperatures on Friday by the country's Ministry of Health. Dozens of tourists rushed to the sprinklers and some even danced about as they cooled down. Further north in the Netherlands, schools were closed and court hearings postponed on Friday as extreme heat also disrupted the country. Parts of the Netherlands saw temperatures peaking at 37 degrees Celsius. Authorities urged motorists to avoid unnecessary travel. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.